Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight by introducing you to two Aurora women who are rewriting colonial history. As Channel 8's Darius John Adams tells us, these women claim to be descendants of George Washington.
We all know George Washington is the father of our country. Two African-American women from Aurora claim he also fathered their ancestor, West Ford. Sisters Janet Allen and Linda Bryant are direct descendants of the man who was born to one of Washington's slaves.
And when we were little, our parents used to tell us that we were related to George Washington and that he was our great-great-great-great-grandfather. And we just always knew it.
This family search started 10 years ago. That's when a cousin started working on her doctoral thesis at Vanderbilt University. That's when the media picked up on the story.
I have a cousin named Judith Saunders Burton who wrote about it in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. And we are finally helping her out, trying to get it known to the public that we are his heirs and we're here to claim our heritage.
The cousin's thesis cites striking similarities between West Ford and George Washington. It also notes that Washington treated Ford like a family member.
George Washington was reported to have taken West Ford on rides in a wagon all over the county as he was doing his business. He went hunting with George Washington.
Ford was also educated at a time when it was illegal to teach slaves to read or write. But accompanying the Revolutionary War hero to church is what surprises the sisters the most.
Why would he do that? Why would he take a little black child with him if it wasn't his son?
According to documents, Venus Ford gave birth to West Ford in 1784 with no mention of any father. The slave baby is given preferential treatment by Washington's sister-in-law.
And she was very, very concerned about the young boy, and this is why we really know that this was George Washington's son, because she had him inoculated for smallpox, and she had him educated, and she freed him.
The sisters' claim piqued the curiosity of one very influential politician.
I was very interested in your claim that you are a descendant of our founding father, George Washington. And it goes on, your friend, Newt Gingrich.
These sisters are even planning to pen a book entitled, I Cannot Tell a Lie. They'll tell their story as it was handed down to them, much like Alex Haley did in his book, Roots. Only this book might cause some Washington fireworks. For News Inside Aurora, I'm John Adams, not Washington's vice president, the reporter telling the story.
And the sisters won't start writing their novel until next summer. That's when they plan to visit Washington's home in Virginia. Well, Amanda.
I mean, you know, and your name is John Adams. It's really quite...
I'd like you to tell me, first of all,
Okay. May I have your name first, please?
Janet Allen,
Can you spell that for me?
Janetallен.
Okay.
Linda, Linda, Bryant, Bryant.
Okay. And I was wondering if you could both tell me, to start off, tell me who West Ford is, in your words.
West Ford is the son of George Washington.
West Ford is our great-great-great-great-great-grandfather.
And what was his standing in Mount Vernon?
West Ford was the caretaker and manager of Mount Vernon Estate. When George Washington died and everybody in the Washington family passed away, West Ford was the only one taking care of the plantation. The national magazine, Harper's Magazine, they interviewed West Ford about that, and it brought national attention to Mount Vernon, where they started taking care of Mount Vernon Estate.
Okay. And tell me how you learned that West Ford, now, West Ford is in your genealogy, obviously. Tell me how did you learn about West Ford being son of George Washington and your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather?
Well, as with any family, most families can trace their family tree in the United States because it's a young country, unlike England. Well, what happened was we were always told that we were related to someone famous, and when we were little, our parents used to tell us that we were related to George Washington and that he was our great-great-great-great-grandfather, and we just always knew it. We didn't tell anyone at the time, but we just always knew that we were related to him.
What made you decide to, since you said you never told anyone, did anybody in your family, are you the first generation that's decided that you're going to share the information?
No, we're not the first generation. It was known all through our family history that we were related to George Washington. I have a cousin named Judith Saunders Burton who wrote about it in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. And we are finally helping her out, trying to get it known to the public that we are his heirs and we're here to claim our heritage.
And the other thing about it is that Judith Burton is started the whole procedure when she did her doctoral thesis on it, and we were approached by her to, to continue on with it, with the heritage. She's the one that is the major focus in finding out our genealogy, but we've always known, it's word of mouth. Just like the documentary Roots, where Alex Haley, was able to document his family tree. Well, it's the same thing as that. We have been able to document our family tree just by word of mouth and with artifacts and personal items that have been handed down through the generations to our family that had the focus, or that George Washington really was our grandfather. And so we just have that information. It's always been in our family tree.
That should be good for the two-shot. Okay.
Have you ever been to Virginia? Or have you ever been to Mount Vernon?
I haven't been to Mount Vernon in my mind, reading the history books and learning our family history, and we do plan to attend Mount Vernon. We did have a reunion in 1984. And we were unable to go. And we are planning to attend Mount Vernon, and we are going to see Fairfax County, Alexandria, and the old tomb of George Washington, where we believe that West Ford is buried in.
Can you go into a little bit more about West Ford? And you said he was there when George Washington's tomb was opened?
Yes, when they unsealed the tomb of George Washington, West Ford was there, and they put him in the new tomb. We believe in our family that West Ford is buried in the old tomb, which has been sealed off from the public, and we're going to have government approval to find out if our grandfather is buried there, in the old tomb of George Washington, him and his mother.
Can you give me a little background? Why did they bury him in a different place, or why did they reopen?
Well, at the time, we believe since West Ford was a part of the family, which they say he was, that he was not buried in the graveyard. And our family is saying that he may be in the old tomb of George Washington, in which we do have a right to find out if he's in there. The Mount Vernon Women Association, they handle that old tomb. So we are going to have government approval, which I did write Newt Gingrich about this procedure, finding our history out.
And you wrote to Mr. Gingrich, did he give you a reply?
Yes, this is a letter that Newt Gingrich wrote me, and he was very kind at it, and I did meet him in Peoria, Illinois, when he came to speak on the Washington banquet.
What did he say in the letter, basically?
Well, in the letter he said, recently my colleague Ray LaHood informed me of your letter and request. Having an avid history in history, I was very interested in your claim that you are a descendant of our founding father, George Washington. And it goes on, your friend, Newt Gingrich. And this is the letter that he wrote.
Don't move. Put that just up like you had before. No, you held it differently.
Like this?
One finger up.
How's that?
Yeah, I want to get that straight now.
He's a very kind person. We talked about it. And in fact, when he came to Peoria, Illinois, which I was interviewing him, I asked him, was West Ford George Washington's son? And he plainly told me, I don't know. He didn't know.
Have you met Judith Saunders Burton?
No, we